Many believe coming into Saturday's UFC 253 event that both Paulo Costa and Dominick Reyes had a good chance of leaving the event with gold around their waist, but it was not meant to be. In the main event, Paulo Costa suffers the first loss of his MMA career, a complete washout at the hands of Israel Adesanya. We did not see many of the things that we came to expect of Costa in this fight. Minimal output, and he just got chewed up by Adesanya's striking until he was eventually finished with the TKO, and now you wonder where he goes from here. Very young guy, a ton of potential on Costa's side, and I think is going to take him some work if he wants to get back to Israel Adesanya, who seems like he's going to have a firm grip on that middleweight title for the foreseeable future. Fortunately for Costa, he hasn't fought a ton of the highest ranked names at 185 pounds, and if he's going to look to bounce back, I think there is some opportunity for him to get some big opponents, and for him, I would be looking at the loser of the UFC 254 fight next month between Robert Whittaker and Jared Cannonier. It seems like the winner of that matchup might get Adesanya next, and the loser would be looking to rebound, much like Costa, and I think pairing them together would be very, very logical, whether it was Costa against Whittaker or Costa against Cannonier. Both of those are very explosive, exciting potential matchups. We'd love to see it, and it would be a great fight for the middleweight division. And if you move on to the co-main event, where Dominick Reyes, in surprising fashion, just gets utterly dominated for the most part by Jan Blachowicz, had no answer for the kicks. He ended up taking a huge combination in the second round and getting finished, and what of a turn of events for Dominick Reyes. He was on top of the world earlier this year, many people believing he should have taken that belt from Jon Jones, and he gets knocked out in the very next fight, goes from 12-0 to 12-2, now back-to-back losses for Reyes, and he is definitely going to have to regroup. His social media posts after the fight indicated he is taking this rather well and is going to continue on in stride, and I think there is some definitely fun fights for him at 205 pounds. I think the one that makes all the sense in the world is him against Anthony Smith, another fellow former title challenger, a guy that they have had beef and been circling each other for many, many months at this point. They've been talking trash online dating back to when Smith himself fought Jon Jones, and I think those two would be a logical matchup. Of course, Smith, coming off a couple of tough losses of his own, talked about fighting the bigger guys at 205 pounds, which Reyes very much is, but I think that could be a good bounce back win for Smith. If he can ultimately beat Reyes and win that fight, he'd be a very, very good place at 205 pounds again, and if Reyes won, he'd be right back in the mix once more in this new era of the light heavyweight division. So some very interesting matchups for both Reyes and Costa coming out of this event, despite them not getting their hands on the UFC titles.